Welcome back, viewers. Another lovely day in the unit. It's very cold at the moment. It's 0 degrees. So it is freezing at the moment. I'm trying to warm things up with the smallest heater in the world. I bought it and I assumed it was going to be massive, but it's tiny. So there you go. I've masked the car up. Obviously, we're ready for our final undercoat, our final paint. Throughout the car, which is going to be good. So I've got that all. I've set it up on the pneumatics at 5 bar of pressure, and we're going to spray the underneath and see how it goes. It didn't say anything about the heat. Most paints say they can only be used above a certain temperature. This doesn't mention any temperature, so I assume there's no requirement. So I've managed to get the temperature up to well, it's still going down, so 7.8 degrees. It's probably going to end up about 5 degrees at best. Hopefully the paint will work. As well as that, I've been getting ready for the next stage after that, which will be cavity filling. So I've got some cavity filler that's just arrived, which is the, all these cavities, of which there are millions, have to be all filled up inside. So I've got that paint arrived. And finally, my final bit was to get the fuel lines derusted and painted, which I've done here. I'm not quite happy with them, so I need to give them another coat just to make sure they're fully painted, although I have to make sure I don't put too much paint on, because then they get too wide diameter and they no longer fit. So it's a bit of a balancing act. Also, really annoyingly, it just pisses me off when this happens, the rubber boots on the new ball joints are split. I don't know if you see there, you probably can't see, just take my word for it, they're split, they're no good, they won't work. So super effed off with that. Why did that happen? It happened because when I put the ball joints in, I didn't press them down quite straight, which sounds easy, pushing a ball joint down straight, but it's freaking impossible. So that's I'm gutted about that. I probably can't get new boots, new rubber boots, because where would you get that? So I probably need to push them out and try again with new ball joints, which is really put a dampener on the day because I really wanted to get on, but there you go. So I'll figure that out. Let's crack on and spray. Welcome back, viewers. It's actually been a couple of weeks since we spoke last. I think last time we spoke we had the red oxide primer on. You can still see some there. We seam sealed it, and then we were ready to put the top coat on, which is ironically the undercoat. The undercoat was to be this chemical here, known as Gravitex, which is designed to replace the original undercoat of the car. Very nice stuff. So I sprayed it all on. It is actually under there, underneath this grey stuff. It's black, but it failed. It went on beautifully, sprayed on, but as it started drying, it cracked everywhere, like crocodile skin. It was very, very horrible, and I was very upset. It turns out, pretty sure what had happened is it actually reacted at a chemical level with the red oxide primer that I'd used. So not only had it, the reason it had cracked is because it had actually reactivated the red oxide primer. It turned to liquid. So, imagine if this stuff's trying to set and the primer below it, which is attached to the car, has turned back to liquid. It's a bit of a nightmare, and the whole thing just turned into a big, gunky, messy, stewy bunch of crap. And I was very upset by that. So we had to go back to the drawing board at that point. So I started talking to people, including professional sprayers and stuff like that, and try and find out what went on. And at the end of that, it was basically considered some bad luck. So a bit of stupidity and a bit of bad luck. So the red oxide that I'd applied was 1 pack. I'm pretty sure you can only get 1 pack red oxide. It means it's 1 chemical. It's not 2 chemicals mixed. And you spray it on and it dries due to whatever mechanism it uses. This was an acrylic. It could be water, it could be solvent, it could be whatever. And it dries, and that's great. But rarely does it dry perfectly. Unless it's applied perfectly in tiny little micron layers, it will, never fully, properly cure. It's a problem with a 1 pack. And so on that, I applied the Gravitex, which just so happens to be about the most solvent-rich chemical you can buy on the market. Really solventy, just how it works. It's because it's really thick and gloopy, and they need it to apply, nicely, so it's full of oil or solvent. It was so solvent rich that when I'd sprayed it on everywhere, that solvent, it didn't help that I was doing it on a cold day as well, because I was a noob, I didn't know what I was doing, so that solvent was struggling to evaporate into the ambient air, which is, its mechanism, obviously. So a lot of it started seeping back into the red oxide, and when it got in there, it had a chemical reaction, unfortunate chemical reaction, and it reinitiated the primer, and the primer turned back to a liquid and it started again. When finally that solvent did escape into the ambient, the primer rehardened, and you can see it's back on there underneath, and it's okay, it'll be okay. But it ruined the undercoat, Gravitex, so it was a shame. It was a hard lesson, and I wasn't sure how to proceed. Well, I'm still not sure how to proceed, to be honest. So this is how I've decided to proceed. Instead of using red oxide, which is a great chemical, cheap and really easy to use, I've moved to a 2K primer. So it's called 2K or 2-pack because it's 2 chemicals. You mix them 2 chemicals together just before you're about to use them. It's also known as epoxy. And then the chemical reaction starts. Why is that good? Well, it is a much better, a proper chemical reaction, whereas the 1-pack, the stuff you get in an aerosol can, is never really a proper reaction. All it is stuff that's mechanizing onto the curing, onto the thing you've sprayed it onto via the mechanism, but there's no actual heat reaction going on. So this way you can make a much stronger product, a much stronger coating. As well as that, because it's epoxy, this isn't fully true, but from what I understand, it cures from the inside out rather than the outside in. So that chemical reaction is almost certainly going to have happened. Like concrete, right? You lay it down, you can lay it as thick as you want, it doesn't really matter because it's curing from the inside out. So that's the difference between this. What does that mean to us? Well, one, it's a much stronger product than the than the red oxide. I know, because that flooring is epoxy. It's pretty much just the same stuff. And it's incredibly hard. It's the same stuff probably that would have been on the car originally, the undercoat. You try and scratch them off and it's impossible because it's so strong. So that's that. And the idea is, we think because we're fairly certain it's going to fully cure because of the way it works, then we go and put the Gravitex on later on and it should work. It shouldn't react. Fingers crossed. I certainly hope so, because this is just chewing up time now. Which I was getting really pissed off with, because to rent this ramp that I've got here is £500 a month. And, I don't have the money to do this. So, I've got to get on with it. So fingers crossed this works. Otherwise, I think I'm going to have a fit. Anyway, so I'll let this dry for a week now, because the epoxy takes a week to dry. I come back in a week, I respray it with Gravitex. Fingers crossed it works perfectly. It's supposed to key in, but I think it's so gritty everywhere. I think it's not going to need keying. I think it'll be okay. So what we've got now is the car. We've got red oxide. We've got failed Gravitex. We've got this on top. There's not much point of taking it off. It's fine. It hardened, but it just hardened in weird formations. It didn't harden like proper paint, but it's fine at a chemical level. This back on top to recoat everything. Act as an inert barrier, I believe is the right word. Put Gravitex on top, fingers crossed, no more reaction. We're happy days, car is done. That's the fingers crossed. We might as well take this chance to do some chemical testing, I figured. I ran out of epoxy before I did the front here. So we've still got some red oxide here. So I think we'll do a test here. We know if we just spray Gravitex on here, it will react. It will react. So why don't we try and figure out how to put Gravitex on here so it doesn't react? And this is the art of painting, which obviously I don't know. It's all about how you do it. So if I find a way of putting that Gravitex on very thinly, with not much solvent in there, and enough ambient heat and whatnot to allow the solvent to easily get into the atmosphere, it almost certainly will not pester the red oxide here. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to try and put some nice little coats on. Within 10 minutes it will dry, because it's such a harsh chemical. I'll be able to see if it's reacted or not. And if not, then that's a compatibility test, and that's a way of doing it. And probably the whole car could be done like that. Because one bad thing about the epoxy is it is actually a lovely chemical, but it's very expensive. It's $60 a litre basically for me to get, and it takes many litres, so hundreds of pounds for one coating of it. Let me know your thoughts. I will eventually get around to reading these comments at some point. So what's best? Red oxide on bare steel, then an undercoat applied hopefully compatibly, we'll see, or an epoxy. It is a rust. What do you call it? Preventer as well. It has zinc or something in it as well. It's probably not as good on that front as the red oxide. I don't know, but again, you can let me know that. So it looks very nice. It's hardened beautifully. Honestly, it's like it's tougher than the steel. It's nuts. I've got a bit on the floor and I can't get it off. That's that one. The other thing I've learned is the temperature has to remain above 15 degrees. And, oh, 14.1 viewers, a 14.1. So we have to fire up my new baby. I just bought the world's most powerful frigging space heater, which means I've technically got a jet engine in my unit now. Watch this. Welcome back. Yeah, so I just painted a thin layer of it on, and no reaction at all. I mean, it's ugly as hell, but it's just not suited for painting with a brush, obviously. It's meant to use a Schultz gun. But it's on, it's drying, and it is not chemically reacted with the red oxide. So that's interesting. So it shows that it can be done. But that said, there are big differences. Remember, it's currently at 17 degrees, whereas I originally applied this at 5 degrees, the original black stuff, when it went wrong. So that might have something to do with it. I originally applied it on massive quantities, you know, square meterage-wise. Pretty much everything that's grey now, I applied it. That will make a difference, possibly. I applied it much thicker. Now, I'm slightly worried about how I apply it thinner with the gun, wherever it is, over there somewhere, because it's a, you know, it's a shotgun. It's not a fine gun. So I've got to figure out how we can apply it thinner with the gun. Yeah, maybe just nozzle further away. Maybe that will be enough to make it work. I guess we're going to have to find out by practice, and then get a standard nozzle distance, and then learn to use that nozzle distance. And then, because of that nozzle distance, you won't be able to get in some of the nooks and crannies, so you'd have to go over with a paintbrush afterwards and fill up those nooks and crannies. Oh, lots to learn, viewers. Lots and lots to learn. Yeah, getting there slowly and painfully. I'll catch up with you soon. Welcome back, viewers. I left the Raptor to dry for a week, and it dried absolutely beautifully. It was rock solid. Super impressed by it. Then I've gone and reapplied the Gravitex, the undercoat, again exactly as I did last time, in a relatively thin coat. This is just a first coat, 2.5 litres, and then I'll do a second coat, and then I'll do a third coat up to 7-8 litres, whatever it takes. It's beautiful. It's settled on the Raptor perfectly. It hasn't reacted like it did with the primer before. So this is as it should be, and it looks great. Looks like I want it. It's not meant to be pretty. It's an undercoat. It's there to protect, and that's its only job. It is designed to be painted on. So if I want, I can go and put a coat of red paint to match the car. This type of car, obviously, you're not going to bother because it's not, it's not a Ferrari. That's it. I've done the whole thing. Really nice. So I'm super happy with it. But I'm never happy just to have a finished product as such. I want to know why. Why, when I did this stuff on the, it's still drying there, that's why it's all blotchy, on the red oxide, did it react and crocodile skin and fall off and go horrible? Well, I don't know. But it's still happening. But there was a little patch just back down here, you won't be able to see it on the camera, where there was no Raptor. It just went straight back on the red oxide, and it did it again. It cracked and it reacted and it melted the primer. So it's a definite thing. It's not temperature specific because this time I've got a burner, and so I'm burning up to well, whatever temperature I like. So it's reacting with that primer. Almost certainly just bad luck. There's just one more thing to show you. So I've been doing some tests. Oh, it's raining. Oh no, it's not. So I've got 4 tests here. I've got the acrylic-based red oxide, that the reaction happened on there. I've got a water-based, no, sorry, wrong way around. No, that's right. Yeah, acrylic-based and acrylic-based there. That's the one the reaction happened on in the car. I've got a different type of red oxide, a water-based one there, and a water-based one there. And on those I've got 4 experiments, which is the Gravitex brush applied very thinly. I've got the Gravitex applied more thickly with the gun. That's how you do it on a car. Why did I do difference? Well, with brush it comes out very thin. It's unavoidable. It's just how it is. With gun, it comes out very thick. Again, it's unavoidable. It's designed to come in a Schultz gun at a certain, amount, if you like. And then the same on the water-based red oxide. Sorry about the fingerprints. Just ignore it. A Gravitex brush, Gravitex gun. Okay. And interestingly, the only one that reacted was the Gravitex. Sorry, was the acrylic-based red oxide. So the one that reacted on the car, and only with the gun-applied Gravitex. Now, you're not going to be able to see it on the camera because the camera just can't zoom in that much and get enough detail. So you can trust me. It's actually, if you really zoom in with your eyes, it's all broken up and crocodile skinned and it's cracked everywhere. Not as bad as it did on the car. On the car, it was terrible. The whole thing just mashed up. But this, I can see the reaction has happened. All right. On the acrylic-based primer, on the brush-applied Gravitex, it did not reacted at all. On the water-based primer with the brush applied Gravitex, God, this is hard to say, it's not reacted. On the water-based primer with the gun applied, so the thick Gravitex, it's not reacted. Okay, so what's that told me? It's told me that there is a definite scientifically provable reaction happening here. It's only happening with the acrylic-based rattle can red oxide primer, and it only happens that, and then when you apply thickly, i.e. via the gun, just means it's thick, a thickly applied Gravitex coat. So that's, we've proven what this is happening, and at least what combination of stuff is happening on. Now why is it happening? Well, who knows, right? I'm not a chemist, so I've got no way of knowing. Not a chemist, God, you know what I mean. I'm not I don't know what's wrong with my brain today. I've been ill all the weekend again, so fed up of it. You know what I mean? I'm not a chemical guy, expert. Yeah, so probably it was a case of an unfortunate use of this particular primer with this particular thickness of Gravitex. It reacts, the solvent remelts the primer, and there you go. Unfortunate, but that's a learning process, isn't it? How do I move forward? I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to discuss it with guys and have a think. But that's it. The car is, once I've done a few more coats, essentially painted, done. I can take the masking off next when I've done that and start reassembling. I will see you next week.